Not really. Let's go. I was thrusting tip too.
I actually found a company.
He's only got a few good swings left.
Humboldt Marble Cutter.
He's only got a few good swings left.
Yeah, you know, if you want to do something that's like it, you say, here's my inspiration, and here's what I did because I'm broke. I went to the thrift store and bought pottery and broke it up
Tried to
and
stab you and missed.
mosaicked it into place.
My plan B is to do an elimination.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much every book of ours has
Alright?
some, skeleton doing something.
Yep, absolutely.
So I found one that looks pretty simple, kind of big elaborate.
How hard was that? Yeah.
My son and I
Both
watched
The leg was okay?
Khan Academy animated
Trying hard.
art history. The first from you know the Egyptians and Mesopotamians through the Renaissance. And there was some stuff in there that I didn't know. And that was really cool.
There's a documentary, there's also a book as well called How Art Made the World. And it's all about how the art forms have influenced thought patterns.
Good leg.
Well, that's one of the things they were pointing out is, you know, here's how it was, and then it was like this, and then when you get to Rome, and when you get to the Western Roman Empire and Byzantium, the two groups took dramatically different views of art and what was acceptable to others. And you know, and then by the time we got to the Renaissance, it had been brought back together.
Yeah, because there was a point in Egypt where it was basically where if you're going to draw an ibis, it was
Still had the advantage over me.
exactly the
Like
same
this, yes.
every single time. The only difference would be the scale of it. And they've even found unfinished scenes where they have it on half.
Yep.
You know, it's like
Is
after
that
calculation.
blade? Well, did you see it?
I didn't see it
I thought
now.
it was. It looks like it was. I want to make sure. I thought that somebody at the Warren Ajax had to tell me.
Ideal is
I hate it when Ajax tells me anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
where
Which is right.
like the chest of David,
Yeah.
no one would
Hip.
ever look like that.
Nice solid hip.
He's too symmetrical. No. But,
That I could actually, well, that I see. I saw it on
yeah.
Brand.
But it's a really interesting thing. It's like a 3-part documentary of it, and then there's an animated as well. I think it's on Netflix.
You were, took me a while to time it. You were really open, leaning back. It took me a second. That's exactly what I was trying to do when I got you with. Which is rare. Usually those never work. But yeah, you were really unprotected. You're a better counter shooter than I would have got you earlier.
Why there's this exaggeration sort of thing?
Right.
Why
Yeah, they talked about this in this. It's just like, this is a normal person. The proportions of a normal person are
That was a little on my
take their
leg.
head, and they're like between 5 and a half
know.
and 6 heads high. But then when they do heroic
Oh, that was
showing
nice.
of the people, they leave the head the same size, but they make them 8 heads high.
Oh, I didn't know that
And so, and in fact, that is a standard in the cartoon industry for actual superheroes.
Yeah, that's
Is
alright.
to take and make their proportionally their bodies 8 heads high.
So they say how big the cartoon breasts have to be in proportion to her.
Well, twice as big as her head, right? Isn't that what it looks like?
For each one?
Don't
Yeah,
you
good
think?
shot.
It seems that way.
I swear
Pump
that's
the basket hill, but you still hit me really hard.
actually,
right
it's really funny. I
Yeah,
didn't
the
ever
angle
really
too.
see any 4-color
Two more.
hero comics and things until after I was past puberty. And it never occurred to me that they're
Dang, right in the same place.
And it's when somebody pointed that out to me, and I said, well, I guess they compared to the waist and the hips are kind of big, but
Getting hard, I'll tell you that.
strike me as that big
Oh, I got
because the
your arm?
shoulders and the head.
Someone took the proportions of
See how
Barbie,
you do.
Oh yeah,
even if she
I don't block.
still had something like 18 inches.
Good.
There's some ridiculous thing like that.
One more? Yep.
Yeah, but I saw this documentary.
Well, the thing was wonderful about these is, I pulled out the Mesopotamian and Egyptian. So little 6 minutes.
Yeah, I love it.
Very cute.
Very precise.
And so I
Got a lot of good angle on that shot though.
And we started talking about it, and then he said, "Is there more? Can we watch another one?" So we sat there and watched all the way through the Renaissance, and every time we'd be done, he'd start talking about what we'd just seen. It's like, well, it grabbed his imagination.
What up, Dad?
That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, mine's really good about it.
Well, I love it because I can go to
I
work
gotta fix my shield too.
and log on as his coach, and I can watch what he's doing while he's doing it. Not exactly, but I can watch the timer,
I just
and I
fixed
can
that
see
to
that
edge
he
that.
spends 7 minutes on multiplication and 14 minutes watching the video on practice.
I think it's in Minnesota.
No.
They partnered with Khan Academy to where the homework is
Do you have a wrench I could use?
Khan Academy
A wrench?
videos
Yeah.
at Khan Academy.
Um,
And then when they
can you
go
be
to school,
slightly more
they
specific?
do
That's
additional
right.
homework. So there's the teachers there to help
With the
the
practice.
So it's completely
would just a flyer work, or do you need to really take it?
Pliers would be fine. Just need to give it like a turn.
And then the practice with somebody who can actually help them practice.
Exactly. So they're trying that out. I haven't heard anything about it. It's going to be just a 5-year-long
The great stuff, we gotta mix it up.
but the early results, everyone loves it.
I just say, well, that's more or less what I'm doing with William. I mean, he watches the videos. When he gets to a thing that makes him confused, he watches the video. He watches Sal's video on how to do it. And I go watch Sal video. I can't remember either. And then on home, we go through the practice stuff together. So if he has any, if he gets stuck or can't remember, I can try to, give him the keywords and try to help him remember his stuff. But so far, I am glad I am homeschooling, and I hope that it continues to work as well as it is. Because
Yeah,
he's a happier kid, I'm a happier parent.
yeah. Sometimes when they were homeschooling for a little while, but it just got to be too much of a hassle for homeschooling 3 kids.
And he's like I have to do a whole lot.
Look at his parents. Come on.
Now I think right now he's hiding under his learning disability, his dyslexia, so he doesn't have to hide under it much. His dad's very dyslexic.
My oldest nephew also has this. But yeah, he did the same thing.
Nice.
So
Dad, you got me.
basically would have to teach him and get him excited about what he's doing, and then it would exactly.
And yes, he's probably a little awkward, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Novel expressed to me or something that made it clear that I know you know what you're talking about. That's all I care about.
Well, he has a master's degree in mechanical.
So he figured out how to express himself eventually.
Yeah.
We've got William Dragon naturally speaks, and so he's going to be able to just sit and tell the computer to write for him. Practicing. At the moment we're running practices with it. We're going to see a modified for a younger audience version of Midsummer Night's Dream on Thursday.
Oh.
And his assignment Thursday when we come back is to sit down with his Dragon Naturally Speaks and critically review the play. Talk about how he thought, whether he thought about the storyline, what he thought about the acting, what he thought about the sets and the production.
Yeah, just trying to keep you busy.
Whether he enjoyed it or not.
Have you seen the video that started floating around the internet a couple days ago? There's a theater company
Yeah. Nice.
at
I
the
like
Globe
to.
who has started, well, they've been doing it for a couple of years, but they're doing more and more of not just doing Shakespeare in the Globe with period costumes and everything. They're actually doing it in original pronunciation.
I saw it. I didn't watch it. I saw that it was there. I saw it.
It's like a 20-minute long video,
Yeah.
so it was interesting because they first off they had you can tell what they think all of it was, but there's a lot of evidence in what people wrote about how someone talked or how they said something or whatever, and they found out that a lot of what Shakespeare wrote was actually but with the modern pronunciation, it just wasn't ringing off the tongue like it used to. And so that was a revelation.
Sorry about that.
I don't know if you're the pronunciation of these words just the tiniest little bit, and then they had this father and son team who actually did this. One of them would say passage from that kind of whatever.
You just got me a little light.
And then the other one was in OP. And it's still understandable, but it's interesting because the son was when he talks in OP, he has to actually lower his register, so he sounds like he's talking like this. And he says he kind of that actually and so they've got, I think, like
Just
audio
the carpet.
copies now that they can actually produce with this. And then they talked to a couple of the actors about what did they think of it, and they said at first they were really intimidated, but then once they got into it, especially when they got into the meters and the rhymes as opposed to
It actually makes it easier.
it was a lot easier.
Sorry.
So I thought that was, it's really fascinating how much the language has drifted over, whether it was 5 years. One of the guys was in the wings watching the audience, and what they do at the Globe, even for an evening performance, is they light it up as if it was midday. Because in Shakespeare's time, the plays would be all coming out.
Yep.
And so you have this level of intimacy with the audience, the actors. Not only are they close enough, but
Came up
the
that they
audience is
still
so
had
well lit, you can actually make eye contact with people. But they said because of the change in the punctuation and the addition of more lines and music, people were laughing in sections that they had never laughed at.
Right.
How do you do that?
Because all of a sudden it's funny.
All of a
Before it was just, I wonder why he wrote that, and now it's freaking hilarious.
Exactly. Makes me wonder what Shakespeare would think of all the effort trying to introduce something that he took for granted.
Well, and,
I still think you would like West Side Story.
some of these West Side Story like adaptations of Shakespeare that
Well, what was that Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, the one in Nazi Germany. Romeo and Juliet in Nazi Germany.
Well, Romeo and Juliet is actually an older story. It's a fiction and essay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I like to say. There's only 14 stories. It's all about the shading.
I thought there were 29.
I don't know. He thinks there's only 14.
So there's kind of a
Sorry.
fun book for Celtic
Had to
tales
make
called
sure.
Celtic
I thought you were
Characters.
saying no.
And there were more than 14 categories of stories, but the official ancient categories are very, very interesting. And they say as much what is legal and what was just not talked about is as hilarious.
Well, and, you know, then there's, you know, all of the various mythos stories. You know, you go all the way back to the Egyptians and the Mesopotamians, and then through, you know,
But
the
like,
Greeks and the Romans and the Celts and blah blah blah, and you go and you look, and they all have the same pretty stories. The
Well-
characters are slightly different.
Yeah.
The outcomes are sometimes different. The stories, the background story is the same.
but I like that creation tale, if you will, for the Celts is the Book of Invasion. What does that say about it, people? Why is everyone coming in and stealing our sheep?
Because you have the most beautiful place on the planet, and they want it.
Where is this?
Ireland.
Ireland, yeah.
'Cause this was before the little ice age,
Yep.
when, quite frankly, Ireland had the most beautiful. The weather was perfect. The land could grow anything. You know, there was so much wildlife. You were never hungry.